This is the geek protagonist, and life is still crazy. But wanted to throw some content at you. I know, like I said, it's been a little bit lighter, a little bit sporadic. Every time I'm trying to get the stuff done in my place, something crazy happens. And then it stops me from working on my stuff because then I got to go help people with their stuff or the things, something happened in my family or something happened with the family pets, or it's just been nuts. So every time I try to get something done, something jumps in, and I'm like, I got to get my place done. I'm kind of tired of walking around in little circles. I know my cat is. I'm like, I want to finish off my studio stuff. I mean, you're starting to see it come a little, but I'm like, this week, I'm telling everyone outside of the very specific times they need me because I have to go deal with some family in another place, and I have something. I'm like, look, there's going to be about 2 days of don't bother me kind of thing. But anywho, so some of y'all probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But I happened to see on Google while I was working on something from Screen Rant. And I don't even have them on my following thing, so it just popped up, I guess, because I looked before. It says Supergirl ending as Superman and Lois starts is a bad look for the Arrowverse. It's a bad look for the Arrowverse to let Supergirl end just as Superman and Lois is starting up, given the CW's emphasis on equality of the sexes. Supergirl coming to an end hot on the heels of the Arrowverse, is the CW verse now, version of Superman getting a spin-off series, Superman and Lois, is a bad look for the Arrowverse and the CW. Okay, that's like 3 times in the span of a few sentences. While the timing was unintentional, so this timing wasn't planned, you're acknowledging that, it still seems incongruous that a network famed for its reputation as an equal opportunity employer could bring a show centered around one of its most prominent heroines to a close just as her male equivalent is getting a show of his own. You know what's interesting? This all still happening around the same time of Arrow too ending. They actually did announce when they announced, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. But I think when they announced Superman and Lois, there was the announcement that Arrow was coming to an end. Where's your article about that, Screen Rant? If I remember correctly, but it's roughly in the same time patch. Like, you know what I mean? And the reason why I say this is because, actually, I think I am right. And it's because at the end of the big crossover, there's a big reveal about Superman of, I guess, for Arrow versus Earth Prime. Now, let me be clear. So it's not like, oh, he's a hater, or he's a troll, or something, because they're probably going to say that, because I haven't really fully read this, actually. I actually am a fan of the Arrowverse. I don't care if anyone tells me they don't like it. I don't care. It's about what it entertains me. That being said, I have not watched Batwoman season 1 yet. I was trying to get around to it. Usually, I've like watched it. I just haven't felt like it yet because even the people I know who are also fans of Arrowverse, it kind of goes like this. There's something I want to point out in Supergirl. There was a particular season, and this is spoiler territory, but not really, because I'm going to be very vague, but very specific about something happening, and it actually made me angry. Supergirl started going more woke. Now, I liked it when it didn't, and my friend said the same thing about Batwoman. When it didn't do the woke stuff, he actually liked it better, but as soon as they went into the, hello everyone, I'm LGBT, like, he's like, it just went down. My niece said the same thing. By the way, this particular niece is also part of the letter community. She said the same thing. So there was a particular storyline where the president did something where it was all aliens are welcome here. Everyone who's a refugee, everyone who's here, come to us, right? In that same season, there is a particular character who some backstory comes, another person part of the letter community, and they're having an issue with their parents from coming out with their parents that they're clashing basically, right? So the dad, now note, remember what I said. The president said, "Oh, all aliens welcome. If you're refugees, whether it's from countries or from another planet, you are welcome here in America to partake of the American dream." A couple episodes later, he's yelling at his daughter because she happened to be of Spanish descent. I guess they were implying she was Mexican. And he sits there and he goes and he tries and he sees his daughter kiss another person and he just loses it and he leaves. She's like yelling like, "Papa, what's going on?" And he starts flipping. He goes, "Yeah, do you understand? They're trying to make us build a wall and kick us out this country. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that to us." This whole Donald Trump rant. And I'm like, what? Who? There's no character in here. As a matter of fact, everyone was on board with it. At that point in time, I'm like, there's no character in here that's talking about anything about building a wall. What are you talking about? And then all of a sudden he's like, "So it's already hard enough to be, and then you'll get on top of it." And I'm like, I actually went back, rewatched the episode to make sure or that part to make sure the president said that. And I'm like, and I called my friend, and it stood out to me. Those kind of outlandish, stupid, over the top, liberal craziness of in your face like that always stands out to me. Every time I talk about someone, and I said, "You want to know my perfect example?" The Moon Girl comic with Captain Marvel talking about who wrote the Genius List. Oh, it was men and all that. Those things stand out because they're so out of place. It's ridiculous. Don't do that. If you're, and then they did stuff to make the president more like Trump and all this other crap. If you don't have the story to do that and you want to do the message, then you're going to have to write out the time. But they wanted to do it because it was relevant for that time. So within that couple weeks, they wrote that in there, even though it made no sense. And that's my problem with Supergirl. That would randomly happen. I actually like Supergirl. I like the message of hope. I think she was perfect to be Supergirl. I think she's incredible as Supergirl. She embodies Supergirl to me. Like, overall, I like the setup. I like the characters. I liked John Jones. Like, I liked the whole setup. But as they kept going, it was like it would get really, really good, and all of a sudden they would go super woke. And it kept happening, and it takes you out of the show, and people are tired of being preached to. So now this says the announcement that the upcoming Supergirl season 6 would be its last sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and superhero fandom alike. Not really. For me and my friends, yeah, but it was kind of like boop, 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 like that. It wasn't like everywhere. Let's see. The past year has been tumultuous one for the Arrowverse, CWverse, with Arrow ending after 8 seasons, Elongated Man actor Hartley Sawyer being fired from The Flash, which I'm hearing that more and more people are actually fighting against that decision on the fan side, because he was getting hit for stuff he said like 5 or 6 years ago. I think it was like 6 years ago. And Ruby Rose decided to leave Batwoman after a single season of playing Kate Kane. No official reason was given for the decision behind Supergirl coming to a conclusion, but it's suspected the series star Melissa Benoist, who recently celebrated the birth of her first child, wished to focus on the joys of motherhood without having to balance her new responsibilities with the starring in superhero role. No, because she's not the only person that had a baby and still works on the shows. But I do get that she's a star, but Stephen Amell like had his child, and the reason why he left, and he specifically said it because he wanted to spend more time with his kids. Like at the time, he was single and everything. He became a dad, and he did it for a couple more seasons. And I'm not saying it's not hard. I mean, these guys sometimes will have 14, 15-hour days of shooting. It's hard work. But let's be real. Supergirl had really bad ratings. The ratings were starting to really go into the dumpster. And so did Batwoman. I bet you they're going to call us trolls in here somewhere when it's actually... No, the woke stuff, when you keep trying to do a message instead of tell a story, you can put that message in the story, but the story has to be a good story. Just ham-fisting, like, would that happen? They're building a wall, even though the president said all aliens are awesome and so are all refugees, but no, they're building a wall. Like, no. While this perfectly is understandable, the timing is unfortunate. Just that's the timing. Because AT&T did all that cut. I think they looked and said, "Well, this ain't getting ratings, which means it ain't making money. Gotta go." Um, One of the biggest challenges Supergirl as a series and Benoist as a performer faced when Supergirl first premiered in 2015 was in dragging Kara Zor-El out of the shadow of her famous cousin. The character was originally introduced in DC in 1958 in a bid to lure more girls into reading comic books, while copying the success of similar characters like Mary Marvel and Miss America. Although Supergirl proved popular, she never really progressed beyond being a female version of Superman and remained derivative for most of her published life. The first season of Supergirl tried to address this by not having Superman appear on screen and focusing on Kara's life outside of heroism, but this only raised questions as to why Kal-El never felt that he needed to check in on his cousin, as she started following in his footsteps. Scott some hero. Well, actually, he did. See, this right here, this article is telling me, and now I'm starting to feel like it's virtue signaling. We just didn't see him as a character. As a matter of fact, in the first season, he did show up for like a quick stint, and he did communicate with her a few times. Yeah, but you definitely watched the show right in this article. Because there was, a matter of fact, there was two times you've seen him. One was in a past thing, and one was when she was having trouble. He came down, and then she told him, like, kind of like stay out of it kind of thing. But he would text with her. So actually, his presence was there. He did check on his cousin. So don't know what that's talking about. Ironically, Kara's status as an independent hero seemed to improve with the casting of Tyler Hoechlin as Clark Kent in Supergirl Season 2. Giving a face to the Man of Steel helped humanize him, as did allowing Kara to interact with her cousin directly. Yet Supergirl still faced accusations of having a weakened Superman in order to make Supergirl seem like an equal, such as when Kara teased him by telling a group of kids that she used to change his diapers, or when Kara defeated Clark in a one-on-one battle. Most of these complaints were leveled by online trolls. Ring the bell, people! Every time you have a complaint, it's a troll who predicted that Supergirl wouldn't last another season on the CW. That's not true, because nobody cared about female superheroes. That was never said. Not by the majority. How I know? A lot of people like White Canary. But all right, and they also claimed that the only reason a Supergirl show was made in the first place was because they couldn't get the rights to Superman. The same trolls are even now falsely claiming Supergirl was canceled rather than coming to a close with the agreement of the production team. All right, so let me explain that portion. No, the decision was to get canceled. It just happened to be where the timing was good, where they said, look, we want to give you... They could have either went like this, or, as shows have done, when the time is coming, and they're like, all right, I can't remember the name of the show right now. There was a show I used to love that had Maggie Q in it, where she was like a secret agent. The show was technically on the bubble to get canceled, but what they did was they gave 13 more episodes to clear it up for the fourth season, and I don't know why I can't remember the name of the show right now, but it was Maggie Q's show, and yeah, she was a secret agent and things, and the name's just escaping me right now because I haven't looked at it in a while, so I apologize. Actually, I came in the show late, but yeah, it was actually a really good show. If you look up Maggie Q, you'll know it was for a few years. It was a CW show, but they gave him that. No, also, no, that's not what happened. No one was complaining about the diaper thing because that's like a family member taking a jab at another family member. The reason why people complained about the Superman fighting, which I explained to people, it wasn't about the strength. Kara trained. But I understood what people meant by the way they did it. Now, a lot of people don't realize they based that idea off of the Jeff Loeb run where they were saying that Supergirl seemed to actually be more powerful than Superman. And they ran with that storyline. What it really came down to is that Kara could beat him because she trained. She's a DEO training. She has the other stuff, and she's been doing it for a while by that point. Because remember, Well, if you watch this, spoiler alert again, her sister gave her a weekend thing and was beating her up and was training her like, look, you have to learn how to fight. So when Superman was coming, he was also under mental influence. And even though he was like, I wasn't holding back, he could have also told her for confidence, like, there's a lot of factors, or he wasn't, but she's just a better fighter. They have, similar power sets and stuff, and she's just a better fighter. So that could have happened, but some fans were like, no, Superman is actually stronger than her because technically in the comic stuff, he is stronger than her. So the people that are complaining, there is a legitimate stance there. While it is unfortunate that the timing I said unfortunate again, Supergirl series finale given trolls ammunition, the numbers are bad. The ratings are trash, and the only reason why they haven't canceled Batwoman is because they put too much money into it. So they're going to try to give it another go before it would go. And that's not me hating on it. The ratings are bad. They're like the lowest of the CW shows. It should be noted there is no evidence to support any of their claims, except the ratings are bad. Despite any appearances of sexism or lack of confidence on the part of the CW, the fact that the matter is that Supergirl ran proudly for 6 seasons, paving the way for a series like Batwoman and Stargirl. If nothing else, the fact that CW feels Superman should share his show with Lois seems to stand proof that as far as the Arrowverse is concerned, the future is looking strong for Superman and Lois. The problem is that having Superman series effectively replace Supergirls around the same time isn't a good look. That's like 6. Especially regarding the franchise push for diversity. I think that's it, but I'm not going any further anyway. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Stop saying it's not a good look. It's not a good look. What do you mean it's not a good look? Superman show was announced. They weren't canceling Supergirl yet, and Arrow was ending. How is it not a good look now? So what? Are they supposed to cancel Superman's show? Because they were already going into production. Now, let me say something that is going to probably ruffle a few people's feathers, but it's the truth. Superman is more popular than Supergirl. Did I say that out loud? Batman's more popular than Batwoman. So, yes, they probably did do a Supergirl show because they couldn't get the right Superman, similar like how they did Smallville. And this is not the first time Superman and Lois were together. They had Lois and Clark. Stargirl, excellent show. So, yeah, she paved the way. That's great. But it's not a good look because Superman's show is coming. They had to make a cut. I guarantee you, if you actually paid attention, for one, I could tell you already didn't watch the show because you didn't know that Superman already showed up in the first season and was talking to her. Spoiler alert. And two, the show was already in production. They didn't originally have a plan to end Supergirl. They all probably, the production and everyone, they said, look, this is how it probably went. AT&T said, we're going to give you money for this other season because we already had that in the contracts. That's it. So they probably say, hey, can we negotiate a longer season to give her, which I think it's like 3 or 4 episodes longer. It's going to be a nice send-off for her. So it's probably going to be like, yeah, we'll do that. But this is it. This series is not giving us dividends. Now, for all the people that keep complaining or say, it's not a good look, why don't you go take your money and spend it? So you want them to spend millions of dollars on a show that's ratings is really doing bad and has been doing kind of bad for a couple seasons. And remember, I watched Supergirl. I don't hate the show. It has a lot of issues, and I can admit there is some really good stuff that they improved, but with improving that good stuff, there's also some really bad stuff that they kind of kept going with and pushed a little harder in, which makes the show not enjoyable for a lot of people, and it annoys me. And I was a fan from day one. I'm an Arrowverse fan because Batwoman will be watched. I watch all the shows. And I'm telling you Supergirl became annoying. Not because of Supergirl, because you kept hammering these messages. And that's the one thing about CW that is kind of awesome and bad at the same time. They're great for the diversity, but then they sometimes hammer the message so hard that they lose the story. Batwoman, they already had an investment in and probably had an investment to go into the next season because I think they actually approved it for 2 seasons anyway. By the way, I saw her in that costume. Give her I hope they do the Miles Morales thing where he wore the first costume and it was like, ah, that don't fit. Give her another costume. That looked bad. Now, some people didn't like Ruby Rose's one. I thought she looked fine in it, actually. I thought it worked. If you're going to make this Batwoman, please, within like the first episode or two, give her her own costume, different from that. That just looked really bad and out of place. Please give her another costume. Give her the one where it's like the full mask comes down, or give her like a new cut. Take the opportunity to have fun with this, because this could possibly be your last season of Batwoman. So really go on the design team, like really give her a cool costume, really put some awesome work. You have an original character that you can take anywhere. That's awesome. Play with that. That's something you could make iconic to the point where DC will put it in there. But let's be real. Supergirl is ending because of the fact that the ratings are bad. And guarantee AT&T was like, look, money. Now, I know they hired that dude who's kind of an activist, so I don't know where they're going to go. And I did see a recent comic with BLM in it, even though their world's supposed to be all jacked up from Dark Knight's death metal. So that's getting on my nerves. There's a better way you could have did that. But anywho, this is going on long enough. Screen Rant, whoever wrote this, I forgot to check your name. You absolutely did not watch the first season because some of the comments you said, and constantly repeating the same thing over and over again, because I know what you were trying to do. You were trying to hammer the point home. It actually just made you seem kind of stupid. And kind of like you really didn't have a point to say. Because that got ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, that got ridiculous. It's a bad look. No, it's not. It'd be a bad... If you're trying to say your part, it would be a bad look if they said, hey, Supergirl's ending and we're replacing it with Superman. Superman was coming whether Supergirl was going to have another season or two or not, and it went for 6 seasons. That's a good run for a show. But I just want to point out, she's probably going to show up in Superman and Lois and probably still be around in the Arrowverse quite a bit, or they might write her off where she goes to Argo, but she comes back for big events and crossovers, or sometimes Superman just to visit her cousin and be around. I think that would be a great idea, or put her on Legends like I said before. So no, it's not. And talking about diversity, okay, spoiler alert for anyone, just want to point this out. There is one other character on here who is a father that has 2 children, but that other character is not married, but he's getting back to with his wife, who's a strange wife. This is going to be the first show where it's going to be the family, but they're a family unit. That's diversity. They have a family with a father, and I love to see Black Lightning and Superman kind of like, yo, I'm a dad, you're a dad kind of thing. But we're starting it up with them already, Lois and him already being together and being a family. So I don't understand. This is a Geek Protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Tell me your thoughts. I think this Screen Rant thing is stupid and it's not sexist. It's just how things fell. And I'll see you. Hey, thank you for visiting my channel. This is the Geek Protagonist. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please, it'll really help me out in the channel if you actually share these videos. If you like what I'm doing, please hit that bell notification. Hit it, click. This way you won't miss any of my videos. Also, there's a thing on there that says personal and all. Hit the all. This way you'll get them every time for the notifications. I'm trying to, grow, trying to do commentary about what's going on. And I want to thank you again. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay real. This is the Geek Protagonist. I'm out, and I'll see you.